There is nothing sadder in this life than putting your dog down. Sometimes you have situations where, the quality of life just isn't good anymore and you just have to let them go. It's a very sad thing to do, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Because at some point, there's just no quality of life. And I feel like we're having the same exact situation with Rings of Power Season 2. Because the trailer recently just dropped, and I am not a happy camper with what I've seen. And I'm a big camping man. I'm not a big camping man. So let's start off by just saying, yeah, I'm sorry that the camera quality is so bad. I've come to the wild conclusion that the lighting in this place just isn't good. I don't have a really good lighting situation like my last place, because I used to be able to get it really dark, and I've got a giant window behind me. So we're just gonna have to make do with what we got. But by golly, that will not stop me from doing my due diligence and talking about something that I'm really passionate about, even though I look like Casper. So without further ado, let's just talk about it. I can't show the entire trailer, first of all. I would implore you to go watch it first. But there's just some things that I just like to talk about really quickly. Buckle in, buckaroo. So one of the most notable things is they're talking about Sauron has returned, and then there's this clip that, even though it's kind of blurry, where there's this weird sludge moving around. And I'm not entirely sure what that sludge is. It's kind of a weird thing to see. At first I thought, oh, by the way, you're gonna see a really ugly side of me, because I'm gonna go full nerd on this one. Maybe it's creation of orcs or something like that, I don't know. But it looks like leaves, and leaves once again makes another appearance within this trailer. As Galadriel says, prepare yourself, because everybody knows that Sauron has returned. He's here. He's here to wreck some crap up. And then this person raises their hands, and then it's the most terrifying thing of all time. It's leaves. Oh my god, the leaves. What are we gonna do? Now, I'm not one to complain about leaves. Leaves are just leaves. That's not the part that I'm very upset about. This is just very minor stuff. The major stuff comes not even that much longer after, when we get a good look at the new and improved Sauron / Halbrand / dude, as we're introduced to more nature stuff with roots, just to really pipe in the him slithering in with like leaves and roots and very symbolic, I guess, is what they're going for. And then they say, oh my gosh, I think he's been here all along. And then we get a new look at the new and improved Sauron, and his brand new disguise, because the man, the master of disguise, the deceiver, has returned. His new disguise is long hair and pointy ears. This is my main gripe with this entire trailer. Let me start off by saying that I like the design. This is something that I would have expected from somebody that would want to be Sauron. This is exactly what I would expect with him in his disguised form. I talked about Rings of Power Season 1 before, and I mentioned that, well, please stop interrupting me. Thank you. I talked about Rings of Power Season 1 before, and I mentioned in the past that I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of his disguised form as Halbrand. I much more appreciated his elf disguise that was in Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. I thought that was a really good representation of the Deceiver, because that's what Sauron is. He's not like a big military guy, he's not a big fighter. His main thing is just deception. That was pretty deceptive would be the right word. This is not fooling anybody, because the weird thing is, it's the same dude. It's the same exact dude. And then the writer's big idea for the show is, all right, it's time for the master of deception to come in. What's he gonna do? He's gonna put on a wig and pointy ears. Nobody's getting fooled with this. Not at all. It's the same face. And I swear to God, because I'm invested. I have to follow through with the show. If in the show, at any point, he returns, and somebody who has seen Halbrand before looks at him and is like, greetings, new man. Welcome to our city. How may I help you? I swear to God and on my future children, if that happens, I'm going to lose my mind. Honestly, the best thing that they could have done, if they really wanted to disguise him, they could have put on the glasses, the big nose, and the mustache. That's the classic disguise that's always, used in the past. That would have been a better disguise than this, because this is just the same person. But by golly, it just gets better, folks. So the big emphasis on this whole thing is that Sauron's back, and now he's doing his thing where he makes more rings so that he can control people. Because last time we left off, there was only 3 rings made. Now he's got to make, 7 plus 9? He's got to make 16 more. I'm in college, I can do math. And we get this clip where we got the dwarf who's looking like he's holding up one of the rings. 7 to the dwarf lords, as the poem implies. But here's where I have my main problem. This does not look like a ring of power. It looks like a ring. It looks like a ring pop. This looks like something that would be gone in 20 licks or so. And here's the thing. We've got the dwarf rings. We had a visual representation within the monologue of The Lord of the Rings, which is just a classic film that can never be beat ever by anything ever. We had like a 5-second clip where we were introduced to the 7 rings for the dwarf lords. And these rings, let me tell you, they looked powerful. They looked like they were meant for powerful people. This looks like something that you would get out of an arcade after you earn 100 tokens. This does not look like a ring of power. It looks raspberry flavored is what it looks like. So, not exactly proud of the design of these new rings, and if all of them look like that, God help us, because it looks like they all took a trip to the candy store. And then at the very end, we have this clip where there's one of the gray eagles. He comes swooping into the city, and what happens? There's this guy who gets off of it, and apparently the gray eagles, which are very seldomly used within the books and within the movies, is now turned into a glorified taxi service. Uber Eagle is what it's become. So not happy with what they did with that at all. And again, that's one of the minor ones, but Tolkien knew the significance of the eagles and purposely didn't use them very much because it's kind of a plot armor. Because you could have taken the eagles to Mordor, you could have taken the eagles to do this and to do that, and blah 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 blah. And so the eagles were laid out as very, very powerful and seldom used. This is not what they're supposed to be. They're not horses. They're eagles. And then at the very end, we get this clip where it's like, oh no, it's Sauron surrounded by people. And then he twists his hand and then everything explodes because apparently Sauron has been using the bop it a lot and has been practicing and decided to twist it. So all in all, I'm not happy with what I've seen with this trailer. And I think that this is just a very big travesty. The reason why is because the reception of the first season was very, very so-so, in fact, very bad by some accounts. And so you would think that they would look at that and then reassess where they were going. The reason why is because this was a $1 billion deal and 200 million of that was already put into the first season. So if you're doing the math, and it has already been confirmed by a quick Google search, they already have 5 seasons lined up, everything written. So that's gonna happen, whether we like it or not, there are going to be 5 seasons. Problem with that being, if it's all like the first season, they're screwed. And you know, I was hoping that they would take a step back, try to look a little bit more at the source material so that they would be able to make it better. And from this trailer, I just don't see it happening. I really don't think that they've changed anything. If anything, I think they've just stuck to the original script and it's like, all right, screw it. We're just gonna push through. It's not pulling out a splinter. It's supposed to be a good show. If it's not a good show, then don't make it. I'm sorry, just don't. You know, refunds are awesome. Refund the people that put money into this thing, because you are not going to be making your money back if you keep doing this. Because I said it before, I think the majority of the people who are going to watch this show are die-hard fans of the source material. And a lot of those die-hard fans of the source material did not like the first season. So you'd think that they would alter it. It just looks like they haven't. At the end of the day, this was a very short trailer. It was like 1 minute and 43 seconds. So these are just clips at the end of the day. Are they great clips? Not particularly, but it's possible that the show might be good. Maybe they change the story a lot. I just don't think that they will, but we'll see in August. I'm going to see this thing to the very end, and as painful or as lovely as it might be, mostly painful probably, I will see all 5 seasons of this show, and I will be crying through the entire thing. And who knows, maybe this trailer did a disservice and maybe it's amazing. I just don't think it is. But we're just gonna have to wait and see. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and I bid you all adieu.